In this video of the Threat Simulator series, I am going to show you how you integrate Threat Simulator into a SIM. In our case, that is Splunk. So we're going to start on the Threat Sim console, and we're going to do that by going to Settings in the menu bar. I'm going to click on Settings, and that brings up a submenus for Policies, SIM Integration, Service Mappings, API Tokens, Licenses, and API. The only two we're going to need for this setup is SIM and API tokens. So the first one I'm going to do, I'm going to click on SIM. And the SIM brings up the SIM configuration. So I have filled this out already for time-saving purposes. But if I click on Setup Help, it shows me all the different requirements that I need, all the different options I have, as well the architecture overview. In this case, we are going to use version 1, which means the Threat Simulator backend is going to talk to a Threat Simulator SIM agent. So I have set up a Unix appliance that runs this SIM agent, which then interacts with my Splunk server. Now we can go through and walk you through some of these steps here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to close this, and we're going to click on SIM again, and we're going to click on API tokens, and that is what we have to create. So you will have to create a SIM API token. So all you do is create SIM token, and it will ask you to give it a name, and once you have done that, you will have to copy and paste that token. That token will not show up again, so you will have to cut and paste it so you have it handy. And I suggest you use an editor like Notepad or something like that that doesn't add any special characters. Once you have that created, you go back to SIM, and under SIM I'm going to click on this pencil here, which allows me to bring up the configuration. And you have several options here. You have Splunk and QRadar as your SIM type. You provide your server IP. In my case, as you can see here on the right, that is my Splunk server. I'm going to send a syslog protocol, and I'm going to use TCP 5514 to send that to my Splunk server, and then I can choose what type of a login facility I want to send. In this case, I'm just going to send straight up syslog. And then you also want to set up your SIM setup for remote management so that the SIM agent can actually talk to the SIM as well. And that's again the same IP address, but from a port perspective it will be 8089, and I have to give my username and password to log into the Splunk server. So you click Save, and then I now can test the interaction with my server, and that takes a little bit of time, but it will show you that actually the communication is going, as in the previous picture, from Threat Simulator over to the SIM agent and then to the actual Splunk SIM. Now, as you can see here, all the tests have come back positive, and my connectivity is good, and I have one active SIM agent. Now that we finished our side on the Threat Simulator, we have to do a few things on the actual Splunk server. The first thing is we will have to open the ports 5514, 8089, as well as 514, so that the UDP syslog traffic, the TCP syslog traffic, as well as the management traffic can get to the Splunk server. In addition to that, we also have to do a few things in settings. The first thing we have to do is we have to do an additional source type. In this case, it's called Threat Sim, and it's really straightforward. You just create this source type. Destination app is instrumentation, category is network and security, no index extraction, pretty straightforward. Regex for the event breaking policy. Once that is saved, we have to add one additional thing, and that is the data input. And that is around the TCP ports that I showed you earlier and the UDP port. So in this case, we have to add TCP port 5514, and we have to choose manual, and we have to go down from list and choose the threat sim index that you created earlier. So that makes sure that the messages that are going to come in from the threat simulator are actually displayed in the correct manner. Then you can save it, and now what we can do is we can create a scenario on the threat simulator. Now that we finished the configuration, I can go over to the threat simulator again, click on scenarios in the menu button, and once the scenarios load, I can execute those scenarios again. I'm going to start 2, and now I can go over to Splunk, and I created a dashboard from that index that we created. And it's literally just, you say create new dashboard and then say which index you want. In this case, I call it ThreatSim Reports, and then I click on that, and then my log data is going to start showing up here as it executes on the threat simulator side. As you can see here, the first messages have started coming in, that the assessment has started. Then what type of an assessment have we done? Where did it come from? Where did it go to? And what other steps have been performed? And this is very helpful in order for you to do more assessment and integrate these proactive security assessment into your visibility infrastructure. In this video, I have walked you through how to set up a SIM agent and how the architecture looks, and also how you get the events from the threat simulator into a Splunk appliance.